So, Caroline, for one thing, so happy to have you. And Eastern European wine today is going through the renaissance. We're seeing so much more of the quality coming from Eastern Europe. But you've been working with those wineries for over 30 years. You've been watching this amazing change in the quality production. I would like to go back to the time of the communism. And let's start our conversation with talking about how did communism influence the styles of wines produced, wine production, and then we're going to move to what changes were made recently.
Yeah, so fundamentally, communism broke the links between the land, the people, and any idea of quality wine. And it got worse the further east you went, because everything was collectivized, grape growing, collectivized separately from winemaking. And it was all about quantity. Now, depending on which country you're talking about, the quantity might have been for export or it might have been for the local population, but there was no idea of quality here. It was just wine-flavoured alcoholic beverage, literally in some cases shipped in trainloads into the Soviet Union.
Okay, so each of those countries actually overcame that obstacle in a different way. We're talking about Hungary, we're talking about Bulgaria or Romania. Can you talk about the leaders, people that actually made that change? Because those were amazing people, passionate about wines. Did they get any help from the local governments? Did they get help from European Union? Or was that renaissance purely done by people, and then the development started?
Well, it's a very complex story, and it's different really for each of the countries concerned, because to start with, there was that long period between the Iron Curtain falling and going through the process of privatization and land restitution and trying to return land to people that had owned it prior to 1945 and so on, which, took as long as 12 years, particularly in the case of Bulgaria. It wasn't until the early 2000s people even knew who owned what bit of land. And of course, in the meantime, wine production really hadn't had a huge amount of attention, because who's going to tend grapevines if they don't know whether they're on lands that they're actually going to end up owning or not? So it was a very complex picture. So definitely the EU has been significant, particularly in the countries that are now members of the EU. Many millions of euros have been invested into winemaking and into improving vineyards and helping new wineries to set up. And then on top of that, you have the influence of different people and characters in different countries who have helped to set the countries on a new course. So if you look at Hungary, for instance, István Szepsi has been a legend in Tokaj, a pioneer really of the modern era of sweet Tokaj, a pioneer of the modern high quality late harvest wines, and a pioneer of serious quality dry wines.